Chapter 41. You are listening at Novelfull.audio. Max was in a foul mood. Ever since Cindy saved him, he clung to the hope of living and became obsessed with her. In Max's mind, Cindy was a superhero, like Ghost Spider. He became a huge fan, frantically searching the internet for anything about her, but all he found was that one rescue. No news, no articles, nothing. Max refused to give up. He thought about her day and night, and that girl became his sole reason for living. He was sick, and he started bragging online that the girl who saved him was the real superhero. Ghost Spider was nothing compared to her, he claimed. Naturally, Ghost Spider fans ripped him to shreds. Max's mood plummeted. At work, he was a zombie, drawing even more ridicule from his boss and colleagues. Finally, his distraction cost him. He lost his footing and tumbled into a pool filled with genetically modified electric eels. Some chemical and biological agents happened to be nearby, and he fell into those, too. The mixture reacted, mutated him, and he became a living electric generator, able to absorb and release electricity. This newfound power gave Max the means to unleash his pent-up rage, and he went on a rampage. The boss who stole his credit? Dead. The colleague who annoyed him? Dead. Random people on the street? Dead. Rats crawling out of the sewers? Dead. Kill them all. To put it simply, Max was a killing machine. When police bullets passed right through him, doing no damage, he realized he was practically invincible, so what was there to be afraid of? He'd kill whoever he wanted. Go to hell. Lightning crackled, and people ran in terror, screaming and begging for someone to save them, but the police couldn't even protect themselves, let alone the civilians. Somebody, help us. Where are the superheroes? Where are they? Spider-Man, and Night Spider. Why aren't they here yet? The news said they're dealing with a lizard situation in another part of town. That's it. We're doomed. Why are there monsters everywhere? What is wrong with this world? Someone jumped into their car, trying to escape, but Max blasted them with a lethal jolt of electricity. Despair settled over the neighborhood. Superhero? Let's see who's calling for me. Asterisk boom, star of the red and gold armor landed in front of Max. Tony Stark, Iron Man, had arrived. Tony aimed his repulsor at Max, charging up energy. Sparky, you're going to jail. Asterisk crack, star. Max raised his hand and unleashed a thick bolt of blue lightning, sending Iron Man flying. Superhero? You're nothing. Sir, the suit's battery is fully charged, and some of it is overflowing. Please release this energy as soon as possible. Jarvis, you said full? Tony looked at the small sparks crackling on his armor, confused. Was it really that bad? Yes, sir. Please release it as soon as possible. All right. Tony fired a powerful beam of energy from his chest, attacking Max. Try this on for size. It's useless. I'm invincible. Max was too cocky to dodge. The beam slammed into him, blasting him back into the Osborn building. He realized then that while he was immune to physical attacks like bullets, he wasn't invulnerable. Energy attacks hurt. In an instant, the lights in every floor of the Osborn building went out, one by one. Max, now supercharged with even more electricity, burst out. You son of a bitch. He was bluer and more powerful than ever. Electric tendrils lashed out from Max's body, wrapping around Tony. This time, he was changing tactics. Instead of a direct attack, he tried to dismantle the metal shell. He realized he could control electrical devices. There was electricity everywhere. Even with the speed of the Iron Man suit, Tony couldn't evade the current as it drilled its way into the suit. Max and Tony were connected. He was invading, he was taking control. Sir, detected, ZZZZZZ. Jarvis. Tony yelled, panicked. He felt the armor slipping out of his control, while the suit's internal insulation protected him from the direct effects of the electricity. Jarvis was freaking out, and he was becoming a sitting duck. Mr. Stark, you might want to add an electricity repellent to that suit next time. A flash of black, a Night Spider suit. Night Spider used his signature move, dropping from above and kicking Max. He was also covered in electricity. the opposite of the electric current that bounced Max away. Night Spider. Tony was relieved to be free of the electric current, and quickly rebooted Jarvis. He also warned Night Spider, careful. This guy's immune to physical attacks. I know. Ye Li said calmly, walking slowly towards Max, unfazed by the oncoming electricity. The blue arc struck his black trench coat, failing to make even a dent. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not an electrical appliance, huh? Max had seen the reports about Black Spider, too, and figured the suit was electrified. Guess not, but Max still had options. He blasted out a few bolts of electricity, hitting some people and cars nearby. Suddenly, headlights flashed on, engines revved, and cars started careening towards Ye Li, including a semi-truck. I'll kill you. Ha ha ha. That with Max's evil grin as the backdrop, Ye Li casually kicked one car, sending it flipping end over end. He put his hand out, stopping the truck dead. The massive tires spun, leaving streaks of white smoke on the pavement, but Ye Li didn't budge. Then Ye Li unleashed his shockwave power, transparent ripples spread out, and the truck and the other vehicles vaporized instantly, reduced to dust. You. Max's laughter cut off. After a beat, he snarled. Okay, you've got some skills, guess I'll have to do this myself. Asterisk zzzzzzzzzzzzzzz asterisk. The stray electricity snapped back to Max, and his form became more solid. Max didn't just use energy to attack. The more electricity he absorbed, the stronger he got. Once he'd pulled in all the stray current, Ye Li was right in front of him. Max grinned and threw a punch. He wanted to test his strength against this Black Spider. Bang! Ye Li casually caught Max's fist in his open palm. Your strength's alright. Feels like a decent massage. Max yanked, but his fist was stuck. Damn it! In that moment of anger-fueled distraction, the shockwave pulsed from Ye Li's palm into Max's whole body, disrupting his energy form. Panic flared in Max. This Black Spider's weird power could actually affect his energy body. Before he could escape, Ye Li blasted him to nothingness. Tony, still on the comm with Jarvis, was stunned. He won. Iron Man was the only one left, everyone else had bolted. Finally, no gawkers, only a few long-range cameras dared to record from a safe distance. Electro's kill radius was too wide, one stray blast, and you were toast. Behind his mask, Ye Li remained expressionless, standing motionless as if waiting. After a moment of silence, tendrils of electricity coalesced, and Max reformed. Ha ha ha. I'm immortal. The resurrected Max cackled. Black Spider, is that all you've got? What are you gonna do now? He swaggered toward Ye Li, acting like he was untouchable. Ye Li reached out, put a hand on his shoulder, and unleashed the shockwave power again, reducing him to nothing. But Max reformed. Again, as this repeated, Max grew more arrogant, solidifying his form to fight Ye Li hand to hand. He knew he couldn't hurt Black Spider, but he figured he could win a war of attrition, tiring him out. Except, he couldn't. And while he was running his mouth, Max realized that Ye Li wasn't fazed at all, and was muttering to himself, in a language he didn't understand. Heaven and earth's Xuanzong, root of all things. Ye Li murmured softly. I have cultivated for hundreds of millions of kulpas to prove my magical powers. Golden light spell, revised. Max saw a fleck of gold appear on Ye Li's forehead, then engulf his entire body in a flash. Then the gold shot out, probing him. Max snapped back to reality to find himself trapped in a layer of golden light, and his electricity, he couldn't dissipate it. Max frantically turned to electricity and tried to escape, but the golden light kept him locked down. What the hell is this? As Max struggled, Ye Li used the golden light spell as a medium, and the trembling waves kept pulsing inward, disintegrating Max's energy form. Without a fresh supply of electricity, Max weakened, his form flickering and fading. So what if you beat me? You can't kill me, Max screamed from inside the golden cage. If you can't kill me, let me go. Or when I get out, I'm coming after you, you masked coward. I doubt your family and friends are as tough as you are. You better think this through. Ye Li remained unmoved, whispering, don't you want to die? What? Max stammered. How do you know that? Then something clicked. He calmed down a little. Did you see the news? Is that what this is? No, I don't watch the news. Ye Li stopped attacking, guiding him along. Think back. Who was there the day you were rescued? Chapter 43. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Max screamed, it's you. You're the jerk who laid hands on Cindy. Spider-Woman was what he called Cindy. He'd never forgiven Ye Li for touching her chest that day. After that, Max couldn't find Cindy anywhere online. He figured if he dug into Ye Li's information, he might find her indirectly. Too bad Ye Li, with his hacking skills, kept a tight leash on his online presence. He knew instantly if anyone was snooping around, Ye Li wasn't about to let Max find him. He blocked Max's accounts, devices, IP addresses, everything. Max couldn't find a thing. So you're the Black Spider. Max spat, still furious. Ye Li, thanks to his super spider sense, practically read Max's mind. He sneered, I don't even know her name. Pathetic. You son of a bitch. Max trembled, the electricity crackling around him like he was about to shatter. Haha, Ye Li thought, you gonna threaten me? Let's see if I can't get under your skin, tilting his head, Ye Li added, and that's not all. Your crew from that day. They're mine now, too. Bang, Max's body exploded into nothing, he literally blew up from anger. You have defeated Gwen Stacy's nemesis. Choose one of the following rewards. 1. Cash reward, $1 million. 2. Random reward, electrical wrench. 3. Minion reward, transform Maxwell Max Dillon, Electro. A system message popped up. Max wasn't gone yet, he reformed. His body was blurry, translucent, but stubbornly clinging to existence, muttering, I am immortal. I am immortal. If Ye Li kept blasting Max, he might actually kill him for good, but he didn't have the time or the patience. Choice 3. As Ye Li made his selection, Max's form began to truly dissipate. What have you done? Ye Li grinned. Turned you into a puppet. This system is so messed up. Across the training grounds. In the gym's yoga room, Barbara, draped in loose black gauze, her long blonde hair flowing, struck a flexible pose, pretending to practice yoga while really keeping an eye on the training area. She was the only one in the yoga room. It was all a front, really. The Ghost Spider Club was mostly a fan hangout, not many people came to yoga classes. Barbara. Skye rushed in, clutching her notebook. Sorry to bother you, especially since you just joined. No problem. This club is huge. It even has its own yoga room. I love it. Something's definitely up with this place. Barbara thought, sparring with Skye. What can I do for you? Skye hesitated. There's something I was hoping you'd help with. Ye Li's got all these crazy ideas, she thought. Now he wants to use Barbara, a spy, as free labor. If I can. Barbara replied, holding the difficult pose. I'll do my best. You've been so welcoming, giving me my own rest area, which is very flattering. Then I'll get right to the point. We've got paranormal events popping off all over New York, and Jessica and Ghost Spider are handling it. Li asked me to direct from the club, Skye said with a polite smile. I'd love your input when you have a moment. Barbara, input. I never said I knew anything about tactical command. How does he know? A million questions raced through Barbara's mind, but she kept her expression smooth. So, here you are. Ye Li appeared out of nowhere and glanced at Barbara. She was in a pose with her legs over her shoulders, *tsk. That's some flexibility, probably top-notch for a regular person, too bad it's not as good as Gwen, Barbara stopped talking, interrupted by him, but she didn't stop practicing yoga. Instead, she shifted into another pose, oblivious to everyone, letting Ye Li get a good look at her figure. You were in the bathroom a long time. Skye saw Ye Li return and gave him an update. Jessica and Gwen are already there. No news back yet, they must have encountered the lizard people. Ye Li tapped his chin, thinking, the worst one, Electro, is taken care of, *. He didn't want to bother with the remaining low-level monsters, *. Leave it to Gwen and Jessica to deal with, *. Sitting here in HQ won't command anything. Let's go have a look. Over at the fight. From a friend? Jessica stared at the blue lightsaber in her hand. Brother, you have some interesting friends. Whoosh. Whoosh, Gwen shot a web, strengthening Connors's restraints and wrapping him in a white cocoon. Her web shooter was stocked, and she wasn't worried about using all her webbing. Back in the past, if she used so much, her supply would quickly run out. Chapter 44. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li's gifts are seriously awesome. Gwen held up her wrist, totally digging the spider web shooters. She couldn't put down her new toy. The fact that Ye Li gave it to her made it even better. Lay off the web shooters for a sec, Gwen. Jessica watched Venom pummel Peter. This black goo dude is intense. The nerd is getting wrecked down there. Should we step in? Right, Peter. I almost forgot. You could hardly blame Gwen for forgetting about Peter. He was a lizard monster at this point, and everyone just saw him as a lizard, not Peter Parker. Gwen looked at the green lizard and the black monster going at it. I don't know how Peter turned into this, but I'm thinking we gotta save him from the black goo first. Compared to the unknown Venom, Gwen was more inclined to help a neighbor. Besides, Peter helped stop Connor's plan, too. I got this. Jessica raised her lightsaber and charged. Time to slice and dice this black freak. Venom sensed the danger and ditched Peter, who was already losing scales. It bounded away, closing the gap between itself and Jessica. Female Knight. Jessica. And Ghost Spider. Thompson was in control for a second and yelled, "You're all in on this. Why didn't you save me sooner? You and Peter are working together, right? You did this on purpose." Huh. This thing talks now. Jessica paused, giving Thompson a weird look. Who are you? Thompson snarled, I am Venom. I'm gonna make you hurt. Then Venom's voice went hoarse again, and it made some weird hissing noises. Caw. See. It seemed really agitated. Whatever, Jessica said. She jumped and swung at Venom. Yelling what Ye Li taught her, taste the power of my all-out Washan split. The lightsaber became a blue blur in the night. Sensing the danger, Venom didn't risk a direct hit. Using its speed, it dodged Jessica's slash and lunged toward Peter. It still wanted to take Peter out first. Seriously? Peter yelled, charging forward and clashing with Venom again. Green scales tore off and regrow fast, black goo ripped and reformed. They traded blows back and forth, and Peter got clobbered again. 'Cause he was outmatched. Luckily, Jessica came in with the lightsaber, found an opening, and swung at Venom, avoiding Peter. The lightsaber sliced through Venom's black muscles without resistance. The symbiote was clearly avoiding the heat. Several slashes landed, but Venom only suffered superficial wounds. Jessica just scratched the surface of the symbiote, leaving Thompson inside untouched. That thing was fast. Seeing that Jessica was struggling, Gwen jumped in to help, but then, her spider sense went crazy. She fired a web, sticking it to the edge of the building, and yanked herself away. Clang. A metal object hit the ground with a crisp sound, and the next second, boom. Fireworks exploded everywhere. It was an exploding pumpkin bomb. Spider. Heh. Harry showed up on the Green Goblin glider, a sinister grin on his face. He hadn't forgotten his dad's plan. Only Spider-Man's blood could cure his family's hereditary disease. Green Goblin. Gwen didn't waste words. She shot 2 strands of web at Harry. Thwip. Thwip. Point too small. Sticky sounds. The improved web shooters were fast, and the webs hit their mark. The Green Goblin's glider wobbled under Harry's feet. Harry ignored it. Just as Gwen was about to pull the web, 2 micromissiles launched from the front of the glider. Gwen had to let go of the web and backflipped off the building. dodging the missiles. She wasn't actually jumping to her death, just sticking to the wall. After 2 explosions, her spider sense said, "No danger." Under the moonlight, Gwen pulled herself up, agile as ever, back on top in the blink of an eye. But she was shocked by what she saw and immediately tossed a web ball, another gift from Yi, inside, because the Green Goblin had a green blade popping out of his arm and was slashing at the white cocoon of spiderweb that held Connors. Harry didn't have time to react. He ignored the small device. With a flick of the blade, he easily sliced it open, but then, white webbing exploded out of it. Crap! Harry got tangled in the cocoon. He was strong, fortunately, and Connors was about to break free. When Gwen's web swung over, both the Green Goblin and the lizard escaped. Oh, man. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gwen sidestepped and pulled back her kick, knowing she couldn't take on 2 at once, but just when she thought Connors would team up with the Green Goblin, Connors suddenly shoved Harry away. "Osborn, you backstabbing snake. You." Harry sputtered, coughing up blood. Shouldn't he be fighting Spider-Man? We wrecked his gizmo. Gwen was stunned. Do these guys always turn on each other? Which one do I deal with first? Forget it, gotta help Jessica. Gwen focused on Jessica and Peter, still tangled with Venom's webbing. Venom's feet were stuck, but the symbiote quickly freed him. This monster's a real pain. Seeing her webs were effective, Gwen held back, thinking of a better strategy. Connors. I know it's you in there. Harry, juiced up with goblin serum, shoved Connors back and tried to sweet-talk him. I know you've got a beef, but this isn't how I wanted things to go. Connors didn't lunge. He spat out the core and demanded, "This is Norman Osborn's Green Goblin gear. Who are you?" I'm. Harry hesitated. His father's disgrace was still fresh in his mind. He didn't want to reveal his identity, so he blurted a lie. Connors, I'm not with Osborn. You don't have to be so jumpy. We can team up. I can help you. In exchange, you help me. Help me. Connors glanced at his device, now in 2 pieces. Harry pounced. We can build a new one. And I can take you to a better spot for the launcher. Connors was tempted. Gwen was watching the fight, trying to figure out Venom, when she heard a noise to her left. Reacting instantly, she leaped up and to the right. Dodge. Connors' claws swiped through the air. Then, she tilted her head. *whiz, *. Harry's Green Goblin glider missed her by a hair. Teaming up again. These guys can't make up their minds. Gwen shot out a web to create distance. Why was she always the one getting ganged up on? Oh, Gwen's in trouble. Seeing Gwen surrounded, Jessica rushed to her aid. Nerd, keep that thing busy for a sec. I'm going to help Spider-Man. Peter wanted to cry. He was getting hammered. Gwen was stuck between enemies again. This time, no friendly neighborhood spider was coming to save her. *rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. A burst of gunfire ripped through the air. Everyone on the roof, including the police drones, turned to look. It sounded like an AK, but the rate of fire was insane, like a machine gun, and as the bullets flew, Connors, caught in a crossfire, was showered in sparks. His scales shattered, blood splattered, and the lizard man was blasted backward. Aakak! Connors screamed. His healing factor couldn't keep up with the onslaught. Who is that? Gwen followed the stream of bullets to the roof access. Yi Li was standing there, holding a seriously tricked-out AK, mowing down Connors. Leave. Gwen was surprised and relieved. Jessica also charged, leaping into the air and swinging her lightsaber at Harry from behind. Harry barely dodged, hitting the ground hard. His Green Goblin glider shattered. Before he could get up, he felt a burning sensation on his neck. Jessica held the lightsaber inches from his throat. Move, and your head's coming off. Yi Li watched Jessica's move. Kill him. Why is she holding back? He figured he was responsible. After laying on the with great power speech, he'd overcorrected their moral compass. That wouldn't do. He needed to give them a lesson. Yi Li abruptly stopped firing. Oops, out of ammo. Connor's pupils dilated. After taking so much fire from Ye Li, his rage was off the charts. I'll kill you. Connor surged forward with unbelievable speed. Gwen couldn't even react as he lunged at Ye Li. Die. The lizard man's huge green hand swung down. Ye Li smirked and jumped back just before it hit. It looked like the lizard man swatted him right off the roof. Connors, huh? He stared at his hand, confused. Why didn't he feel anything? Had the lizard serum given him some new power, like remote slapping? No. Big brother. Two voices screamed at once. Connors saw a flash of pink blur past him. Meanwhile. Get lost. Jessica kicked Harry as hard as she could, sending him sprawling. He rolled several times, spitting up blood. Connors felt a chill behind him, then, nothing. His green body was sliced apart with blue light, falling in pieces next to a pair of black boots. Behind him stood a figure radiating a dark aura, the female knight, Jessica. Green blood splattered her metal mask, leaving a few spots. At the moment of his death, Connors regained his senses. He understood, it wasn't about his precious lizard research. His last thought was, there's something fishy going on here. I got played. Chapter 46. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Get out of here. Ye Li was plummeting. Gwen didn't hesitate and jumped after him. Was this really necessary? Ye Li thought maybe a gentler approach would have been better. Just as he was about to crash, Gwen finally timed it right, and a web shot out, sticking to him, but because of the web's elasticity, Ye Li kept falling. The scene reminded him of that scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Spider-Man, Peter, tried to save Gwen. The web was too stretchy, and Spider-Man couldn't save her, after being caught by the web. The ordinary Gwen hit the ground and died, but Ye Li wasn't going to die. He'd be fine even if he landed. Seconds before impact, a light touch landed on him, and he was pulled into a warm embrace. Jessica held Ye Li, and a silver-white light formed beneath her boots, lifting her into the air. She could fly. Huh. I can fly. Jessica realized she had flown down without thinking. Ye Li noticed her voice was charming, like usual, if you ignored the green bloodstains on her mask. Thanks, Jessica. Gwen landed, relieved. I might not have been able to save Li. Ye Li felt that their sudden decision to act was a bit rushed. He instinctively said, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? The two girls asked at the same time. Ye Li hesitated, then, going with the flow, he said, about what I told you before, with great power comes great responsibility. I didn't finish the sentence. There's another part. Jessica asked, what's the other part? Ahem. Ye Li cleared his throat and said seriously, with great power comes great responsibility and great authority. I think, Gwen and Jessica, you have the right to judge your enemies. Judgment. Gwen and Jessica understood what had just happened. That night, the two girls matured. Back on the roof. On the way, Jessica caught Harry trying to escape. With Gwen, they brought him back after a beatdown. What should we do with this guy? Jessica tossed Harry, his face a swollen mess, onto the ground. I can't believe Harry took over his father's business. What a disappointment. Harry's mask was knocked off. She handed the lightsaber back to Gwen. Gwen, do you want to judge him? Huh? Gwen's hand trembled, but under the influence of recent events, she took it. The task of eliminating evil was over. If we don't eliminate the enemy, what if the opponent does not follow martial ethics and hurts friends and family? But he was a former classmate. Gwen had never killed anyone before, so she really couldn't do it. A hand took her wrist. Ye Li turned off the lightsaber and took it back, comforting Gwen. Don't force yourself. Do what you want. Follow your heart. Li. Gwen was touched. He was always so gentle, Jessica pouted. It's not fair. I accidentally killed Dr. Connors. Ye Li glanced at the green goo still on the roof. Are you sure it was an accident? How many pieces are there? Just take it as it is. Ye Li also comforted Jessica. You just killed a big lizard. It's not the same. Jessica rolled her eyes at him. But I'm glad my brother's okay. So, what about Harry? the Green Goblin. Gwen looked at Harry. His mouth was so swollen he couldn't talk, only whine and beg for mercy. Call Director George, Ye Li said casually. The lesson was taught. Harry could be kept for rewards. There was no need for Gwen and Jessica to handle it. Hey, from the corner of the roof, Peter, bruised and battered from the venom beatdown, shouted. Have you forgotten about me? Help. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Peter's in rough shape right now, his scales are torn off, and honestly, if he didn't have that crazy healing factor, he'd be toast. Ye Li grabbed his Fire Kirin AK-47, ready to unload on Venom. This thing's got unlimited ammo, he'd already maxed it out. Did a friend give you that gun? Is it? Jessica didn't know the right word to describe Ye Li's gun. Cool, so special. So badass. Ye Li took aim, and the bullets started flying. Li, you should probably bail. Gwen stopped him. It's too dangerous for you here. Let us handle this. She sounded genuinely worried. Okay. Seemed like his little act from before made Gwen extra cautious. Ye Li holstered his gun. Alright, it's all you. I'll be downstairs. Got it. Gwen adjusted her uniform hood, her bright eyes under the white mask locked on Venom. We've got this. Jessica yanked her metal mask off her face and chucked it aside, where it stuck in the cement floor. She dug her heels in, and a wave of energy rippled from her feet. Then she launched a flying kick right at Venom's head. Time zipped by. After the rooftop rumble, police cars swarmed the building. Jessica, I don't even know what to say to you. Director George was chewing her out. Look at you. Not listening to your brother, staying home like you're supposed to, and then running around playing superhero. How am I supposed to deal with this? It's way too dangerous. Even if you've got powers, that doesn't mean you can just go wild. You're still a kid, what could you possibly do? Why can't you be cool and collected, like Li? Jessica just fidgeted, listening with an annoyed look. After getting dosed with the Venom stuff, she'd gone looking for her brother and run smack into Uncle George, and Gwen, the sneak, had ditched her while George wasn't looking and split without a word, hiding her face. Every now and then, when George wasn't watching, she'd shoot an irritated glare in a certain direction. Look at your dad. Gwen, dangling from a streetlight in the distance, was cracking up. She popped in her earbuds, grabbed her webline, and swung off, listening to music, leaving poor Jessica to endure George's endless lecture. Venom was taken down by Jessica, Gwen, and Peter, and the whole mess was finally over. Ye Li headed home, feeling pretty good. He saw that he had 2 more reward selections to choose from. You defeated. You can choose one of the following rewards. You defeated. You can choose one of the following rewards. Turns out, you don't have to beat the bad guys single-handedly. Just pitching in on Gwen's battles gets you rewards too. Too bad he didn't get a shot in on Venom, or he'd have another reward option. Oh well, next time. At least these 2 random rewards weren't trash like fizzy soda. Constant source of matter X3. Constant source. Once used, the body doesn't need to replenish energy or any required substances and can maintain its normal state. That's interesting. His super spider sense was telling him this could be a big deal down the road, so he decided to hold on to it for now. The other random reward was familiar to Ye Li, in a weird way. 12 talismans. Enhanced version. Enhanced version. Ye Li was about to check out this enhanced version and see what it could do when he heard a soft tapping on his window. Tap. Who's that? It's pretty late. Ye Li opened the window and a cascade of blonde hair tumbled down. Here we go again. Before Ye Li could say anything, he felt 2 soft bodies pressing against him. Then, he got a mouthful of enthusiasm, skill, and playfulness. Gwen shifted smoothly, planted her hands on the window frame, and flipped herself from upside down to right side up. The whole time, they didn't break apart. Ye Li was too occupied enjoying the softness. This was something you couldn't get from regular kissing. Only the ghost spider's admiration could bring this. Then, a pair of delicate arms wrapped around his neck, 2 hands caressing his shoulders, and long legs wrapped around his waist. The girl was like an octopus, grabbing his upper body and kissing him hard. Yi Li felt the lithe body in his arms and forced himself to retreat in one direction. Gwen slightly opened her sapphire eyes, saw their destination approaching, and fired a web line to the bed. With a gentle tug, the two tumbled down. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Morning light streamed through the curtains, highlighting the wall figures like a beautiful painting. Gwen's eyes sparkled with happiness, accentuating her fair skin and rosy lips. Her long eyelashes fluttered, and she woke up, thinking about something. A sweet, happy, and excited feeling washed over her. Li was something else. Why was her back so sore? And her legs felt numb. Hey! Gwen called to Yi Li softly, "Good morning." Hearing her gentle greeting, Yi Li sleepily opened his eyes. What happened? Oh, right, he'd worked hard all night. After battling a supervillain, he'd had to fight a superhero when he got home. Rough night. Gwen licked her lips and smirked. You seem really energetic this morning. Yi Li reached out and ruffled her hair. That's because you're so cute. That the little spider girl purred, her smile radiating warmth. Li, from today on, I'm all yours. Happy. Yesterday, seeing Yi Li in danger, she'd panicked and taken the initiative. Well, to be precise, it had been several steps, unlocking quite a few new ways. Hill, what did you find out? Barbara sipped her latte in her temporary digs, contacting Hill, confirmed. The Ghost Spider Club isn't just a fan club. They have a training facility specifically for superheroes. Ghost Spiders definitely joined. She's always working with Jessica Drew, the Spider-Woman. Last night. Oh. They're calling it Night of Heroes Online. Besides Ghost Spider and Spider-Woman, Skye was there, providing intel with her hacking skills. Barbara paused. And Yi Li. I think something's up with him too. He might be able to read minds. Hill, so, a grassroots hero organization. We'll add it to the file. About Yi Li and the mind-reading thing. I think this might be why. Hill sent Barbara some information. It was a record of a SHIELD security breach, including her name, just a name, no photos, but enough to connect the dots. Barbara, seriously? Those guys are relentless. Hill, we need to tighten security, or you know how many agents will be compromised by this sieve of a firewall. She regretted blurting out her real name to Yi Li, but he seemed to have known it all along. Barbara, I still think this Yi Li is weird. Hill, keep digging. As for your complaint about the network division, I'll pass it on to Fury. Don't worry, they're not as incompetent as you think. They've traced the intrusion back to Skye. She's joined a hacker group called Rising Tide. Her skills are improving fast, which proves she has potential as an agent. Also, the director has a plan to recruit exceptional superheroes. The Spider-Woman was impressive last night and will be a target for recruitment. Staying with the Ghost Spider Club, you might be needed when the time comes. Click, the bathroom door opened, releasing a cloud of steam. Small, wet feet padded out, followed by smooth, pale ankles. Jessica emerged, wrapped in a bath towel. She'd been so exhausted last night she'd collapsed without showering. A hot bath felt incredible. Morning news, Electroman breaks out of Oscorp Tower, causing numerous casualties. Should Oscorp, plagued by frequent attacks, still exist? Black Spider and a mysterious Iron Man team up to stop the chaos. We've heard of Black Spider, but who is this armored hero? Some fans are calling him Iron Man. Electro, Lizard, Venom, and the return of Green Goblin. Supervillain activity surges. The NYPD had a long night. Last night, Black Spider, Iron Man, Ghost Spider, and Spider-Woman prevented disaster, leading fans to dub it Night of Heroes. Seriously? You didn't even turn off the TV. Jessica dried her hair, walked over, and turned off the TV, but as soon as the TV went silent, she heard creaking and swaying. And Gwen? Jessica tiptoed to Yi Li's door. Gwen was oblivious, even ignoring her spider sense. She brushed her hair from her forehead and stood on her toes. Like moves from a Latin dance. An hour passed. Jessica whispered, Gwen, your family's probably awake. You should go. Okay. Gwen tucked her hair behind her ear and smiled. Go through Li's window, and you'll find my room. Just wait a few minutes. 10 more minutes ticked by. Finally, Gwen, realizing the time, said goodbye to Ye Li. Gotta go. Alright. Ye Li yawned. Tell your mom to make you extra snacks, Spider-Girl. Your power's a little lacking. Gwen stuck out her tongue. If I can't beat you, go find someone else. P.S. The author asks everyone to vote for flowers, vote for evaluation, vote monthly, and comment to help. Thank you. You can deduct 1 in the comment area. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The adventurers and volunteers finished circling the first floor, but they still hadn't found a single monster. This was starting to feel weird. Did someone wipe out all the goblins already? That the dungeon was supposed to be getting lively, and normally, no adventurers bothered with the first floor. Goblins were beginner monsters, and most newbies didn't waste their time down here. That's what he thought, anyway. He didn't expect someone would have already cleared the whole level. Guess we gotta head down to the second floor then, the adventurer frowned. It was still early. Going back now meant making 0 Ferris today. But the second floor was a monster party waiting to happen. It wasn't just goblins down there, you also had killer ants and man-eating frogs. Any level 1 adventurer caught in that mess would be toast. Still, there wasn't a single monster on the first floor. The guy scratched his head, annoyed. He didn't want to waste a whole day and not earn a single Ferris. If he didn't make any money, he might not get to taste any of that good booze this month. He glanced at the volunteer. His mood lifted a little. Not because he was happy to see the kid, but because he figured the volunteer might be useful if things got hairy on the second floor. Alright, let's hit the second floor. Lily Luca, being the volunteer, just kept quiet and followed behind. After they left, Belle stepped out, looking troubled. So, the monster parties aren't just on the first floor. Is this my fault? That he had too many questions, but Belle had a feeling that this liveliness had something to do with him. Why else would so many monsters be spawning on the first floor since he'd been there? Maybe this change on the first floor was affecting the other levels too. Could be. Is this just my luck? Guess it's only good for me. Those other adventurers might be in for a rough time. Even so, Belle didn't feel guilty. Why should he? He wasn't controlling the dungeon. If he was doing this on purpose, that would be different. Maybe it was just some side effect of his luck radiating through the dungeon. The other adventurers were just unlucky to get caught in the crossfire. Of course, this was only bad news for the average adventurers. The stronger ones could probably handle it. Adventurers relied on drops, rare rewards that monsters sometimes left behind, but magic stones were still their main source of income. More monsters meant more magic stones. But again, that was only for the capable adventurers. The weak ones were probably just trying to survive the swarm. Belle shook his head and sat down to rest. He wasn't in a rush to figure out why his power was lasting longer just yet. It's probably the dungeon responding to my expectations. With my high luck, it's creating a monster party everywhere. Who knew my luck could even affect the dungeon itself? That the last time they went to the guild, Miss Ina brought up something similar and even warned him about it. I need to tone it down a bit. If this keeps happening in the dungeon, the guild will investigate. And if they start digging too deep, my secret might come out. Not yet. Even if it's going to come out eventually, I need to keep it hidden as long as I can. Belle hoped he could get stronger while he still had the chance. Maybe he needed to reach at least level 5 before he could live a somewhat peaceful life in this city. Gotta be careful for now. Don't want to cause trouble for Lord God. Don't cause trouble for himself, and don't cause trouble for his God. That was Belle's new motto. Being too amazing often attracted the attention of other gods, so it was best to keep a low profile. Belle rested for a while. His magic power and stamina were almost back to full. Finally, a goblin spawned on the first floor. Unlike the dozens that appeared before, this time, there was just one right in front of him. He listened carefully. He could hear something landing in the distance. The monsters weren't spawning in the same spot anymore, they were scattered across the first floor. That made sense. Not that many goblins spawned on the first floor each round. It was normal for them to pop up in different places. Belle gave the goblin some time. After watching it grab a short sword and stand up, he pulled out the Kuji Kanasada from his pocket dimension. Alright, let's see what's what. This time, Belle didn't move too fast. He realized that focusing on quick attacks made him miss a lot of details. This time, he wanted to pay attention to the subtle changes. The goblin hunched over and charged, letting out a strange yell. If this was a week ago, Belle would have dodged the attack and looked for an opening. But not anymore. He stepped forward, and the sword in his hand flashed silver. Thwack! Boom! The blade severed the goblin's hand, and green blood splattered. That's when Belle noticed something. There was a white gap on the goblin's body. Its skin was green, so the white gap stood out. Belle's eyes narrowed. He slashed. The gap was on the goblin's chest. Without a hand to defend itself, the goblin couldn't block it. The sword struck the white gap. Instantly, the goblin turned to black ash. Dead? It wasn't even a deep cut. A goblin shouldn't die from that, but it turned to ash. Is that white gap its weak spot? Like something you can see with the evil eye of death, but something still felt off. Even if he could see it, why was he only seeing it now? Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I want to learn. Skye swatted away a playful hand and said, a little miffed, I've picked up some self-defense moves. I can handle creeps myself. Weren't you feeling a little queasy just now? Ye Li smirked, and golden light flickered in his palm again. No, stop. Skye grabbed his shoulders, pleading. It's not making me sick, I swear. Cut it out. Ahem. Two figures appeared in the doorway. One was a dark-haired Asian girl who coughed lightly to get their attention, the other, a slender blonde, smiled at Ye Li. The teacher seems busy. Guess we came at a bad time. Oh, Cindy, Felicia. Ye Li withdrew his hand and greeted them, teasing, no way, you're right on time. He pulled Skye closer to make room, gesturing for the two girls to join them. Felicia offered a polite smile. She secretly winked at Ye Li, her eyes playful, but she didn't move to sit down. The book said asterisk. She thought, girls should be coy, play hard to get, to attract guys. Just as Felicia was mentally strategizing, she saw Cindy, usually so quiet, quickly walk over and settle into Ye Li's lap. Traitor, star. Li. Cindy gave a gentle smile, her legs crossed on his, her little feet swinging, adorned with eye-catching moon-shaped emerald anklets. Ye Li complimented her, those are beautiful, and they really suit you. Cindy blinked. Didn't you give them to me? Oh. Right. Ye Li looked momentarily embarrassed, but he quickly recovered. He often gifted girls expensive jewelry. He had so much he couldn't keep track. Forgetting one was normal. Want to try something, Cindy? Golden light bloomed in Ye Li's hand, a faint electric current forming the stamens, the gold mixed with blue, even more stunning than the last electric flower. This is an advanced version. I guarantee you'll love it. Cindy kissed him gently and agreed happily, you should probably have a rest area in here. Skye, sitting on the other side, eyed the current in Ye Li's hand with suspicion. Can you actually learn that? She was starting to feel like she'd been had. We're supposed to be learning to draw, Cindy. Felicia, disappointed at missing a seat, perched on the edge of the table. She picked up a paintbrush from Ye Li's pen holder and twirled it. I didn't come here for foreplay. What the? That she noticed the cool effects in Ye Li's palm. Teacher, what's with the flower in your hand? You got a side gig as a magician? The mystical magic of the East. Ye Li kept up the charade. Want to learn? Cindy and Felicia exchanged glances, then nodded in unison, their eyes wide with anticipation. Who needs painting lessons when you can learn this? And so, in a studio meant for painting, 3 pretty young women practiced martial arts basics under Ye Li's tutelage. Fortunately, his studio was spacious enough to handle the chaos. Meanwhile, a black car pulled up outside the gallery. "Happy, stop here." Tony told his bodyguard and driver, "Let's see if that guy's around. Maybe we can snag some paintings." He wasn't a huge art enthusiast, but collecting paintings was what wealthy people did. Plus, Tony knew the gallery owner, had a bit of a rapport with him, and liked his style. But as Tony and Happy walked into the studio, they were greeted by a lightning-fast spinning hook kick that whizzed past Tony's nose, leaving him speechless. What the heck was going on? An attack? "Tony, watch out." Happy instinctively reached for his sidearm. "Whoa, hold your fire, Happy." Tony stopped Happy from drawing his gun and looked at Cindy. "Little lady, I think we have a misunderstanding. Are you Mr. Stark?" Cindy had seen Tony on the news and said sheepishly, "Sorry, I was practicing some fighting skills." "You kinda walked in at the wrong time." Because of her unique abilities, Cindy was the quickest to pick up Ye Li's moves, and had nearly taken Tony's head off with her first try. Luckily, her spider sense was on point, and she managed to pull the kick in time. "Well, okay, my bad." Tony was always a gentleman with the ladies, especially when they looked young enough to still be in high school. He then turned his attention to Ye Li, who was surrounded by girls, and greeted him casually. "Still rocking the dive, huh? You need to listen to me and redecorate." Ye Li was a bit surprised by Tony's arrival. "Rich guy, what brings you to my humble abode?" "Wasn't exactly planning a special trip for paintings, just thought I'd swing by." Tony eyed Skye, Felicia, and Cindy, each with her own unique charm, and couldn't help but be impressed. "You've got good taste, buddy. Maybe a bit young, but hey, to each his own." Ye Li raised an eyebrow. Why did he get the feeling Tony was implying he was grooming high school girls?